I'm Justin DeRoy, and you tuned in for another episode of Hi-Fi Predictions, the show where I'm going to go down the major networks' new mid-season lineup and give my predictions on which shows are going to get canceled and which shows might get renewed. Alright, so for today, we have ABC's new mid-season lineup, and we're going to start off with a new comedy called Schooled, which is basically about a young teacher who basically graduated from the same school she is now become a teacher at, dealing with students that are fairly just close to her own age due to the fact that she's incredibly young herself, and trying to use like her savviness and the fact that she's able to relate to them so well, being that she's not far apart in age, to help her teach these youngsters and stuff like that, and show them the ropes basically. And I saw the trailers for this, and there wasn't a whole lot that really wowed me about it. There was some certain cast members I seen other things that kind of got me a little interested, but it's not really that fun of a concept. But I have to say this, a lot of people are looking for female-led shows or movies and stuff like that, or at least for females to give them a chance to lead, movies and TV shows. And here you have a new show that's coming out that's going to be led by a young female actress and stuff like that. This is the main star of it. So, I'm just saying, America, you want to prove that you really want to see content such as this, then I say you definitely should, give it a shot and check it out. But I'm personally going to say I don't think that, just based on the content of it, doesn't sound that appealing. So I think canceled. Then next we have kind of a comedic action show coming out called Whiskey Cavalier, which is basically about two different agents, a man and a woman agent, who kind of honestly have had like trouble past with each other, that are forced to kind of join forces and lead their own team, and they're kind of having to deal with the fact that they're always butting heads and don't see the same way and stuff like that on a lot of the tasks that they have to do. And I like the cast, and it looks like a fun concept. Don't see a lot of fun action shows out there, so I think that this one, it's got a good shot at getting renewed for more episodes. So for that, I'm gonna say renewed. Anyway, then we have coming up. We have The Fix coming out in March, and this show is basically about a man who is put on trial for the murder of his girlfriend, ends up getting off, and years later is then found to supposedly be maybe guilty of yet another murder, and the prosecutor who is trying to get him put away in jail is now given another chance to try and put this man behind bars. Now, this does sound like it's a good idea for a show. It sounds like a very cool concept for a show, but the only thing is I just don't see how it has very much of a long-lasting run, because I feel like after you finish like the story arc of them, maybe supposedly finally getting this man put behind bars when he should have been put behind bars in the first place, then what do you do with the show then? How long do you could be able to drag this story arc out before it gets dull? So I kind of feel like maybe they're maybe actually just setting this up purposely to just be a miniseries and not supposed to really go on forever and ever and ever. I think perhaps maybe they could have gone about this show a different way. Instead of it just focusing on one story, maybe it's a different story, like every other week, of like this prosecutor maybe is specialized and trying to, retrial people who obviously had gotten away with something they shouldn't have, and finding a way to actually, get justice for these people that should have been, obviously convicted in the first place. Kind of almost like the opposite of the show Proven Innocent, basically. But yeah, I just don't think that this show's meant to have a very long-lasting, runtime. So I'm gonna say it's probably getting canceled just after its first season. Next, we are going with a show called The Code. This one actually also sounds kind of interesting to me. So basically, The Code almost kind of sounds like a Judge Dredd scenario, where it's a elite group of Marines who are, besides having Marine military training, they also are trained to be prosecutors, defendant lawyers, also investigators, basically all kind of rolled into one. And they're sent on like special tasks, like special interest tasks to go out and investigate and solve these certain crimes, so like that. So basically, I said it's basically kind of like a judge. They're judge, jury, and executioners. So it kind of sounds like it could be interesting. So I kind of would be definitely looking forward to seeing the show and seeing what happens with it. So I'm going to say The Code is getting renewed. That will be it for this list, actually, of the NBC's new mid-season lineup. I do have two other shows you can check out, NBC and the Fox mid-season lineup. And coming out for my last one will be the CBS predictions. So that'll be it for today. Be sure to also check out our Patreon, and goodbye.